Welcome to another Hi exclusive right here on Hi TV, your luxury channel. My name is Dima and I'm here at the International Institute of Health Sciences in Valisara, sitting down with Miss Glenda Whiting for a conversation. She is the head of School of Nursing here at IIHS. And welcome, Glenda. It's a pleasure having you on our show.
Thank you very much.
Now, Glenda, well, you wear many hats. You're a registered nurse, you're a registered midwife, and now you're an educator. So let's talk a little bit about your background and what inspired you to get into nursing.
So I started my nursing training as soon as I finished my high school, and I think that the impetus to move into that area was really about looking after people and caring for people. That was probably what got me started in doing that. So I did 3 years of training in a hospital-based training system where you learn all of the basic care and those sorts of things, really specialising in paediatrics, so children's nursing. And then I decided that I'd quite like to be a midwife, so I then undertook another year of training to be a midwife, and that's been my primary focus of all my nursing training time, to be a midwife, and that's what I still work clinically as.
So how long have you been working as a nurse in the healthcare profession?
40 years.
40 years?
Yes.
So after 40 years, what made you sort of transition into the education field and become an educator?
I think it was from working in the hospital. I was probably that person that when somebody new started on the ward, they would give them to me to look after and to orientate and find out how everything worked. And then that progressed to actually having a clinical position in the hospital as the educator. And then after a while I decided that if I was going to continue to do education, I probably needed to get some education myself. So I did a master's in education, which gave me all that foundation and background, and then really moved out of the clinical area and into a full-time teaching job. So it was a natural sort of progression. I don't think I really set out to do it, but it's like when you find something that you feel like you're quite good at and you enjoy, you then pursue that a bit more. So it meant I could blend my love of teaching with my enjoyment of still being a nurse and midwife.
So currently you balance both fields, I suppose?
I do, yes. So I still do some clinical shifts, only a couple of times a week, and then the rest of my time is mostly based around doing education.
Fantastic. So you've got a full plate of work
Absolutely,
throughout
yes.
the week.
Yes.
Now, where nursing is concerned now, as a nurse who's been in the field for about 40 years, tell us a little bit about the benefits you get being in the industry itself.
So I think particularly over the last few years with COVID, nursing has been shown to be one of those areas of work where you're never without a job. So we're needed. We need more nurses, so there's never a shortage of opportunities for you. I've worked in a number of different countries and even just different states within in Australia, and also just worked differently in different jobs. So I've had such an exciting time in those 40 years. It's not ever really been the same. I think too that the COVID has also shown the world that nurses are very much on that front line of nursing. So I think there's a newfound respect, because my opinion's always been that people didn't really understand what a nurse or a midwife did until you actually had to have one, so until you perhaps went to hospital. And so thankfully for the majority of people, they don't do that. So they have an idea what you do, but maybe not really sure. So I think the profile has been risen, and certainly organisations like IIHS is doing their part to make sure that nurses are recognised as healthcare professionals.
Well, there you go. We're going to talk about the flip side of it when we come back after a short break. Welcome back to the show. I'm in conversation with Miss Glenda Whiting here at IIHS, talking about, well, her experiences so far in life and in the healthcare profession. So we've talked about the plus points, about, the good things that happen in the field of healthcare. Now let's get on to the other side of the coin. I'm sure the experts in the field face a lot of obstacles when they come towards getting their job done or doing whatever it is that they have to get done. You can name a few and let us share your knowledge about those things and maybe how they can overcome those obstacles that they face.
I think even going before we talk about being a nurse, there's sometimes obstacles to about becoming a nurse. So you have to get yourself into a program to train to start with, because it's a healthcare professional role. You need to have the right qualifications so that you can register to be a nurse at the end of your qualification. So there's decisions that have to be made about where you go to study, whether you choose to work through a training program within a hospital like they have here in Sri Lanka, or you go to university and train. And then there's all those obstacles about how do you pay for it, how do you manage to get there, do you have to move away from home, you're going to miss your family, all of those things. Then you've got the study, the struggle through all of that, and we've all worked our way through those. And finally you become a nurse, and then it's about getting a job. Because there's a shortage of nurses, there's never any difficulty in getting a job, but it may not be the perfect job that you want. So sometimes that can be a bit of a struggle as well to find the right place for you and where you'd like to work. As far as working as a nurse, and very similar for all healthcare professionals, I think, is that often you're not seeing people on the very best day. So they may have been told a distressing diagnosis, they may be in pain, they may have had an accident, or they and their family may be dealing with the loss of a loved one, something like that. So there's those sort of struggles that you have to learn to deal with. And I think that comes from experience mostly, that you get better at dealing with those things and understanding and trying to help people through that path of pain or grief. And then also sometimes there's violence that occurs within the healthcare field, that patients are traumatised or under the influence of alcohol and drugs and perhaps not very pleasant to you. And again, I think you build up your stamina at dealing with that, and you make sure that you surround yourself with a team of people that you can talk through those sort of things with. And really you're not alone. All healthcare professionals suffer from that. Ambulance drivers, paramedics, police, anyone that's in that frontline emergency situation has a lot of things to deal with. And certainly your training goes through that and helps you to have that knowledge and understanding about it, but it can be very confronting as well when it happens. And I think that's the other thing to talk about too, is that the confronting things that you see, because awful things happen to people sometimes, and you're the one that has to help them and deal with it and try and save their life and that sort of thing. And lots of times that's very rewarding. I think that's probably why I mostly enjoy working as a midwife, because it's generally a healthy process and people are happy to be there, and they really quite enjoy the companionship they have from the midwife who helps them with their birth and delivery. So a big mixture of emotions, but I think that it's something that you can't really prepare yourself for until it happens, but then you are kind of prepared through learning and training and those sorts of things. And generally we don't work alone, so you have other people around to support as well.
Well, there you go. Profession that needs a lot of training, a lot of stamina, a lot of ability to manage your time, I suppose. Well, when it comes to training, let's get back to Sri Lanka and talk about the program that we have here at IIHS. So tell us a little bit about the kind of exposure and the curriculum that you have here at IIHS.
So there's a number of different programs here at IIHS. So there is an introductory sort of program where you can do almost a short course where you get an introductory to health sciences and those sorts of things. And the undergraduate program that starts out allows you to get the knowledge and skills and then do some clinical work in the private healthcare system, because in Sri Lanka you have the training schools that are attached to the public system, the government hospitals that is with that. So there's also then a lot of programs that help people that once they've completed their training, they can go on to get their degree from an international university, and that's one of the real bonuses. So whether you train through the national training schools in the hospital or whether you train in an undergraduate program with IIHS, you can go on and get a degree that's a internationally recognised degree from places like Coventry University or the OUM from Malaysia. There's also then what we call CPD, which is continuing professional development courses. So for those people that are already nurses, they're already experienced and they either want to specialise in a particular area or they want to move into that area, whether it be something like the emergency department, palliative care, wound care, those sort of things. There's a short course that lasts about 6 months program that they can work through here in Sri Lanka, here with IIHS, and they get a qualification from Coventry University in that. So that's building on their knowledge, making them, I guess, able to expand and perhaps think about working in another country as well, because they've got more than that foundation knowledge. also IHS is very committed to building the knowledge base and the professionalism of nurses here in Sri Lanka as well. So it all adds up. So it's very hard to navigate when you're not in the programs. So the best thing to do is to probably come and talk to somebody, whether you call up or you go to one of the road shows or something like that where you get that information. And also speak to people that you know perhaps that are already working in the healthcare system and see what they say about what they think you should try or where you should go to.
There you go. Very important thing mentioned. There are lots of avenues for you to come and connect and get yourself trained and specialized in a field that you want. So come talk to the people here at IIHS, get yourself informed and choose the correct path that you want to pursue in. Now, we've recently had the graduation.
Yes.
And we've had the bio-inquirer for the year 2022
Yes.
as well. Let's talk a little bit about that. How was the graduation for School of Nursing and about the bio-inquirer as well?
So the graduation ceremony was the main reason I think that I was here really for this visit, and it was an amazing journey for all of those people that have put all of that effort into getting to graduation, and also a time for them to celebrate with their families and other people who supported them through doing that. So it's a very formal ceremony. Everybody wears their formal gowns. We all wear our academic dress, which is always really nice to be able to get that out. You don't do that very often. And this was the first time I've been able to attend the graduations, because last year I wasn't able to come because of COVID, so I watched from home, which is not the same as being here. And it's lovely to meet some of those students that I've met across the 3 years that they've been studying, or however long it might be that they're doing that. So it is a very formal but fun, beautiful celebration, and IIHS does all of those things really well. They're very organised in how everything runs smoothly, and unless you see what's happening behind the scenes, you think it's just like perfect. It's just beautiful. So you can actually after the day, I watched it all, the whole ceremony online, because it goes so quickly. I felt the need to come back and have another look at it. So, and then of course, 2 days later was the bio-inquirer research forum, which I have attended now. I think that was my 6th time. So I've done it a number of times, including last year from home. And it again is an opportunity for the students to present and talk about the research that they've done throughout their training and their courses that they're doing. There was over 200 papers that were presented. It was amazing, the research, the topics that they do. And again, I don't know of any organisation, even within my own country in Australia, that does research like they do here at IHS. It's always been one of those things that's been really promoted and encouraged, and the students learn right from the beginning about research and how to go about it, and assisted in doing that. And again, a fantastic day. They're all excited to be able to present what they've all been studying and putting together, and it went really well. There were some other international people that were here as well, and they were all amazed at the quality of that information that's passed. So a great day.
Well, there you go, something that sets IIHS apart from all other training institutes. We're going to go into a short break and we'll be back. Welcome back to the show, and we are in conversation with Miss Glenda Whiting, and we're talking about the importance of IIHS having international collaborations. What benefits does it provide the students?
I think the main benefit for the students is it gives them the opportunity to receive an international qualification, which means that they can then move to study or to work in other countries, which I think for healthcare professionals is very beneficial. I know that you need to maintain your healthcare professionals in this country as well, but I think that the opportunity to go and work and study abroad means that you gain a much broader sense of the world, and whether you come back and share that information here is a good thing as well. The other thing is that the collaboration means that IIHS has access to other academics that are working in quite different situations than you have in Sri Lanka. So you are up to date with what's happening in other countries. It also means that you can draw upon the knowledge and the expertise of those people. And when we have events like graduation or the research conferences and seminars, those international people can attend or come via Zoom, and it just creates a whole global feel to how everything's operating, how it works. So benefits all the educators here, the staff that are here, as well as the students. And also it means that people from those other countries and the rest of the world find out a bit more about your country as well. So benefit for everybody.
Well, there you go. Plenty of exposure when you come here to IIHS, where your education and where your career is concerned. Now, finally, let's wrap things up by asking if there's someone out there who wants to sort of get into the field of nursing. What would you tell them? Why would you encourage them and say, come do nursing, and why come and do it here at IIHS?
I think we've covered a lot of that in what we've said already, but if you have any feeling that you want to work as a nurse or work in healthcare, my standard response always is just do it. It is the best job. You're relatively well paid. You have some reputation and professionalism. You have the opportunity to work elsewhere. There's so much exciting things that have happened and changed just in the 40 years that I've been a nurse. I can't imagine what changes will happen in the next 40. So if you're interested, come and do it. As I said, the contact here at IIHS is really beneficial to you because they have a variety of options for you, and you can come and talk to somebody, and the staff are nurses as well, so you're talking to nurses about nursing. So it's really beneficial to come and talk to them here to do that. But I think all of us have that issue when you are just perhaps finishing school, not sure what you want to do, maybe think that's what you want to do. The best thing is to get all the information, talk to lots of people, and then make a decision for yourself about whether that's what you should be doing. But highly encourage people to be nurses. It's been a great career.
Well, there you go. You can come here to the IIHS School of Nursing here in Valisara, or you can go onto their website, call them, find out all the information and make the right choice. Well, thank you, Glenda, for being with us.
Thank you.
Until we see you again with another Hi exclusive, take care and be safe.